We're quickly running out of time. I will not be showing you the RTMP stuff, but the process is identical. So you configure your worker role, you deploy it out there, and once it starts, then you have full RTMP running in the cloud. So, and when I say running in the cloud, then all the attributes that are associated with a particular cloud provider in terms of scaling your solution up are directly applicable. So if you have WebORB deployed in an instance, and you need to bring additional instances online with that particular deployment, and then it's just a matter of using your management portals for Azure or for Google App Engine or EC2 to bring additional instances online. And everything else becomes transparent. Okay, I think there are a few questions. All right, Martin is asking if you can see the boilerplate ActionScript code. Let me quickly show you what that would look like. All right, so here's, this is my zip, but let me quickly extract it somewhere. All right, so the client-side code that is generated for the data management consists of two parts. So first of all, so com.nw is the namespace that I provided. So you have a bunch of ActionScript classes where for every table included into your data model, you're going to have one of these files. And these are just placeholders. So if you look and we'll say into customers.as, then this is going to be just a placeholder that will support your custom code. So you can extend it with your custom code. But as you can see, customers extends underscore customers. And underscore customers is sitting in this code gen folder, and it will contain all the actual logic for the data management. So here it is. This is your ActionScript class that represents a record from the customers table, and customers data mapper will contain all the ActionScript logic for working with the backend. So here you have all the methods, that do materialization and serialization and deserialization of the actual code. Now, WebORB data management also supports relations between tables. So if you have one table with a foreign key into another table, then the generated code will include properties which are lazily initialized to bring related data as well. Now, as far as data management is concerned, it's definitely worth setting up a separate webinar, and I think we have already done one. So if you go to our YouTube channel, then you should be able to see a webinar that is dedicated entirely to our data management. All right, let me see if there are any questions. All right, Ron is asking if Flex clients are supported by RTMP in the cloud. If I understand your question correctly, which is whether Flex clients can connect using RTMP to the server side, where the server side is in the cloud, then the answer is yes. So let's say with Azure, if you deployed your worker role, which is where WebORB is going to be running in the as an RTMP server, then that server would be sitting in the cloud accepting RTMP requests, which can handle media streaming or data push and so on. So the short answer to your question is yes. All right. There are some questions whether this webinar is recorded. It is definitely recorded. It takes us a couple of days once the recording is done to slice it into shorter videos, upload it to our YouTube channel, and then we follow up with a blog post where we provide the link to the actual webinar recording. So this webinar is definitely recorded. Okay. So as far as Azure is concerned, I'd like to stop here, but also show you what we're doing with Google App Engine, which is the Java backend, because I'm sure there are some people here who use Java. Okay, so right here, let me bring this window into the screen sharing area. All right, so here I have Eclipse, which is configured with all the Google App Engine plugins. And the way it works with WebORB is I created a simple, very basic Google App Engine project. And in here, once the project is created, it gives you some client-side and server-side, which I believe uses GWT if I'm not mistaken. On this one might not. But anyway, the process of deploying WebORB into your Eclipse project, which uses Google App Engine, is almost identical, conceptually speaking, to the process that I have reviewed earlier with Visual Studio. So right here, whenever you have your project, then if you open the Navigator view, then in the WebORB directory, you can bring in the actual console. And to show you what that looks like in the installer, so here I have WebORB for Java 4.1, which is not released, and then we are in the final stages. So when you install WebORB for Java, you get all this. If you go into the web app folder, then from here you can take console, you can take webinf, flex, WebORB assets, all the XSLTs, and then import them into your WebORB structure. And then in the Navigator, you will see the work structure. So the console folder is here, then webinf, flex folder is here, and then in webinflib, in the minimal deployment of WebORB, you will need to bring in WebORB.jar and JDOM. That's it, so just 2 jar files. And that will give you the very minimum deployment of WebORB that supports just basic remoting and actually data management as well. If you need RTMP, then there are a lot more jar files to bring in, but you can run RTMP in Google App Engine. All right. So once you have all this, then you can just run your server locally. Here it is. It's launching this this WebORB as a part of this project in a local development server, or you can deploy it into Google App Engine. So here it is, WebORB started, and if I come on Safari, here it is. So if I go to localhost 8888, WebORB console. Now you will see some errors because this code is not released yet. So just to set the expectations, has not reached the final state, but it is dangerously getting close to being it. So WebORB console is loading, and it's now talking to Google App Engine Development Server. So these are the errors that I was talking about. But if you go to services, then you will see all the code that is deployed in here. So this is the com.tmc is the code that is actually being included automatically by the Google App Engine plugin, and all the code generation and everything else is also working, although not in this particular deployment. So you can do all the same things that WebORB does directly in Google App Engine. But right now it has not reached the maturity. We're still going through some changes, so I cannot fully show everything that it does. But just so you know, in terms of Java backend, once it is deployed in the cloud, and for that we're targeting Google App Engine and EC2, all the remoting capabilities, RTMP for video streaming, data push, integration with messaging systems, and data management is also going to be supported as well. And by the way, one of the new things that we're adding into WebORB for Java 4.1 is integration with Grails, which will include code generation and support for RTMP, and all of that is actually going to be available in the cloud as well. So that's something that is going to be available very soon.